I'm recording.
Same, because then in retrospect, I can add like your face on and like make this into like an edited video or whatever for posterity because it's a big moment for me personally meeting yourself. Yeah, but also like um I'll add like what I'll add at the minute. It might still happen. There might still be a way, but I don't know how because presume
So
I
I
had to
keep hitting
close.
start video, but it says cannot start video, which is very confusing.
Yeah, I don't know. It just does that. Oh, then it
Oh,
goes off again. That's something.
is that working?
That went back to the camera with a strike through picture.
It's okay. The last time I did one of these, I had the same number of technical issues. Um, OBS virtual camera. Hmm.
Hmm. Just,
Let me
how do
see
I get
here.
there?
Advanced. That's not even showing.
Oof.
I have no idea. I have no idea how to do this.
I think we will skip this bit because it doesn't matter. If people want to see your lovely face, I'd urge them to go and watch both of us on your channel, or if they want to stay in my room, obviously they'll have me, and then later on I'll make an edited version of this.
Yeah, we could
I don't
probably,
imagine.
or I could probably just maybe download it and send it to you on like a Google Drive or something if you want the recording.
Yeah, something like
All
that.
right, cool.
Stick a, I'll just hide that for now then. Where is
Absolute boomers. Fuck you, Silver Reserve. All
that?
right, we're trying to figure this shit out.
I'll take that one. It's probably not like the best. It's not my highlight of my streaming career, that's for sure. Oh, that's me. Right. Okay. So, well, I mean, in that sense, I'm ready to go then.
All right, yep, same here. Let's see what questions I have for you. Um, what metric? Here's one I get a lot. What do you think indicates that the short hedge funds have not covered?
Um, it's similar ways of like. There's so many different ways of looking at it. Like the most I suppose the most simple way of talking about it is the fact that there's like compelling evidence to suggest that there was anything from 140 to 850% of the company shorted. And I'm not sure what you've been reading since, but I've seen stuff that says like there's just so much more than that potentially. Um, and like it also is the answer to that's the first part, like contextualizing it. The second part of the answer is also the answer to the second most common question I get, which is like, why is there no volume? Where is all the volume gone? Where has the volume been since this date and stuff? And like there just hasn't been the volume to say that they've covered that much. When you consider how many people have been buying this thing, how many few people who hold it have sold it, the narrative that goes with it all, never mind the indicators on the chart. And then the sheer extent of buying pressure it would have caused for them to do to close, and like in my stream, you can see I've just got the daily chart up and I've got it on the log scale, and it's like a huge uptrend. And sure, there was a retracement. Everybody knows about it from when we went down after our big shoot up there.
Yeah.
Um, but like that doesn't look to me to be anywhere near the volume that took us up in the first instance, and like that volume itself to suggest that was when the close happened. In the first initial starting volume, as we would talk about it from like a technical perspective, is also to take that, if that to be true, that presupposition would suggest that it happened before they took away the buy button, and that doesn't really make any sense. Chronologically, of course they haven't covered. So like those sort of things, a combination of the narrative, the very basic level, it's the simple maths, and then
Yeah.
the technicals don't suggest to me that they got anywhere near closing it. Plus the chronology of what happened It's such a very popular question, so many people bought, post January time. But people like, I'm sure yourself, I saw your interview with Houston, and you were talking about how you were in at the end of last year, and it's similar to myself. And when you've come from that side of this mountain, um, you don't look at it like have the short covered. Yeah, that wasn't the exclusive reason for you getting into it in the first place.
Yeah.
So you probably don't have the same level of anxiety about other people do. Plus, you've been through such a huge range in price action that you're then steeled to that anxiety should you even have it. And so people like us that are answering questions like that are often speaking to people who just don't know what you've been through, you know, and that's a testament to like so many other people who are in the same situation and are trading this and have been holding it since uh, you know since it was a different company, as I like to talk about it. And just on
Yeah.
that note, that's Rocky that says that, my brother, who's also like, after I would say like yourself and I and him are the three TA guys on that cover these things. And in my experience, just on that, and maybe have that would be one of my questions for you, is like when I got into doing this thing on YouTube, it wasn't necessarily something I ever thought I would be doing. I come from a background where the people who do this wouldn't really be caught on YouTube.
Yeah.
Uh,
Same.
and yourself, true, right? And so, like, then when you look to the people who you admire that do something similar on YouTube, and there's a number of the people who I'd say that are good that do TA on YouTube, they completely avoid these stocks. And would associate AMC and GME as being like exactly the same thing with exactly the same market participants without understanding that there's a whole side to the DD on GME. And well, what can you really say about the other side of it, right? I don't know. So like, and I've never really investigated it because, like you say, what you introduced, the whole your whole introduction has perfectly summed up my thoughts as well. So like, yeah, um, that I can't remember what I first started talking about, but the long and the short of what I'm trying to say is, I don't think the shorts have covered because the people that look at these things that have got credibility that have spent time looking at it, if it had have happened, they would have noticed. And I
Yeah.
understand being one of those people, like not tooting my own horn, but had it happened, I would have seen it, and I'd have said something about it, as would all the other people who are doing like putting their time, hours and hours, day after day, into doing like investigative style investments, looking at like forensic accounting, properly investigating all the different filings, under trying to understand the implications and ramifications of all of the new rules. These people that are doing all that aren't trying to prove themselves right, as you can see with the ebbs and flows in the underlying topics of conversation. They're
Yeah.
trying to properly reach a new level of financial literacy,
Hmm.
and like bring a degree of empowerment to their own lives. And all of those things necessitate a focus on the truth. So the idea that the shorts haven't covered is quite clearly the message of a shill. And I can't be fucked having like these stupid ass, like that whole answer I gave is like actually a really fucking fantastic answer. And I can't be fucked doing that anymore. Like, and I don't feel like I have to, because like I've explained and I've been very explicit about articulating, we don't live in fucking reasonable land. We're not accepting reasonable prices. And we've had the conversation, we've articulated it well. You can work your own way through the start to finish of it and catch up with us. But I'm not slowing down so that you can hear me as I pass you at 120 miles an hour, 200 miles an hour, so that you can just hear me against the fucking wind tell you like reasonable things so that you can get to a general level of understanding. Well, the question and the answer are both equally inane. No offense to the people
No,
who
no,
ask
no.
it.
I agree in a way. I mean, people always ask me to create an FAQ, right? Like frequently asked questions for new people that show up, and I won't do it. Um, and it's partially because I think almost all of them need to hear it again, and then also because for every new person into this, it's so confusing, and so over the top. And I feel that part of what I'm doing here, I'm still not entirely sure what it is, but part of what I'm doing here is educating those people, or at least showing them why, like the facts of why, how we ended up in this position in the first place, and what proof I have of that, right? And I think that's really important for cementing that idea that they should hold, right? Because I'm fully in agreement with the things you say there. You know, this is not an opportunity that people can afford to miss. You know, it's an opportunity that will only come once, because the powers that be will make sure it never ever happens again. Um, at least not in the same way. Don't get me wrong. There'll always be a new loophole, but it won't be as public, right? I mean, how many guys have you known that have made, 28,000% on a penny stock, right? But like, who was
Couple,
in
eh?
on that play?
A
One
couple.
dude, maybe two.
There was like, yeah. Well, I'll tell you a story actually. Now that I'm here, a really close relative of mine, he never gave me any help other than self-discipline. You know, he was good at instilling self-discipline in me. He was one of the world's top traders at Citibank for a long time, at Citigroup, and he got in on something just after he left. You know, he was a really good trader and analyst, and he got in on some of the things that he was being sent out to talk to, and he went from one of the like the most high paying jobs with the most incredible bonus, um, right at the top of this industry, still wasn't able to take rungs up the ladder in terms of like reaching the next level of
Well,
financial
it's all
security.
politics at that point.
Yeah, he still wasn't able to until such times as he left and invested in one of these companies himself, like right at the very, very beginning of a world changing technology. And he would be one of a handful of people on that were able to make the most of that opportunity. And one of them comes along every couple of decades. And so it essentially either have to be right on the very front line, the person innovating in a way that's going to change the world, or you have to be one of the minions who work for the large banks
Yeah.
that provide the opportunity, even for these people, even for people who will change the world, won't be able to do it without the say so of those banks. And so you'll have to either be one of those two people, or you'll be really lucky and be a messenger in between the two, as that chap was at that particular moment. And without that, there is nothing like it. And in terms of social mobility, there's very little around nowadays for so many of the people who've heard the message. So, you know, when you're talking about how many chances are there like this, not very many. And like, let's get right down to the fucking truth of the matter, man. For people like, for the people that are in this, there's never there are no fucking chances like this ever,
Yeah.
in it, ever.
No. I mean, the guys you're talking about, right? Those guys at the big banks, they're sitting on those trading desks, right? Using other people's capital, right? They have all the inside information. They have, they have the dates, the times to buy, the times to sell, right? They know when to get in, when to get out. They know it before they ever jump into the fucking trade, and when has retail investors, regular people, ever had the opportunity to have that inside information? We have more information on this stock than any retail traders ever had on any position ever, by far, by such an extreme margin. I mean, we know about the self-regulatory agencies. We know how they're positioning for this. We know the positions that GameStop is taking on this matter. We're talking amongst each other, right? We're democratizing this process
We're
among the
everywhere.
masses.
We're fucking everywhere.
We are.
I worked in the industry on both sides of the compliance, doing the work that was submitting the data that ended up in reports that's in a fucking cardboard box, paid, rented off Iron Mountain in a warehouse, locked up. And then I worked on the other side of the trade where you'd not fucking submitting it in that, but actually doing the stuff that caused it to be recorded, working on shit that's like 8 or 9 years ahead of when it officially was made the rules. And now these new rules are becoming laws, or like actually you have to follow these rules now instead of it being a test period. And they themselves are all bollocks. Uh, so I'll tell you that. And there's people and like myself who've worked in these places who have worked on and around those funds, which of the largest institutional banks in the world hold. Like we know exactly what's going on, and so we're able to take advantage of opportunities that aren't normally available to us. And what are those opportunities? Well, when the cycle of how that works for these large liquidity providers is that they pick and choose the innovations that don't conflict with their own R&D backlog, and then they provide the growth mechanisms and opportunities for them so that those companies can take over industries that they want to control.
Mhm.
And so they pick companies from their very birth and they take them from cradle to grave, and they crush any other company that tries to grow by restricting their ability to get capital, as they try to do to Tesla. And they try to crush that particular industry while taking advantage of others, or vice versa. They try to use that industry and exploit its particular corner or niche in order to attack other large liquidity providers. And they come to these agreements between each other to let the companies they want do well over time, and just rinse and repeat and scoop every penny off retail. So the only people that can possibly trade well are people who've got a really close understanding of the fundamental analysis. And I think if you want to manage your risk and take proper trades that have got
The
entries and
technical
exits that'll
side.
make you money over time, then technical analysis is the only answer, because price action is king at the end of the day.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what your approach to trading is. I've I've seen kind of some of your stuff that's popped up on Reddit. I know a lot of my viewers are interested in you, but I'm doing this. I wake up in the mornings at 5 a.m. and I'm getting ready for my trades for the day that I have to do, because I mean YouTube's great and all, but it's definitely not paying my bills, and so like I still have to trade, um, and uh, by 7 I'm setting up the stream. I'm getting the information out to my Discord that I have for the day, and then I'm starting the stream. I'm streaming till market close, and by that time I'm exhausted, and I just don't have time to I trailed off here. I forgot what I was trying to point out. Um,
Yeah, you
but
were talking about your routine and how that leads you into being a particular type of trader.
yeah, so
And that's so very much what trading, the question is like the chicken and egg. Like, are you a trader because this is your routine, or is this your routine because you're a trader? Um,
and it is, and that the beginning part of that kind of is my daily routine when I'm trading. Before I started doing the whole YouTube thing and watching the stock with everybody. But uh, I haven't, and I was trying to explain why I haven't really gotten a chance to watch too much of your stuff. I'm sure you probably haven't gotten much free time to watch mine, but I trade like momentum and breakout, um, generally because I feel like that the I have the best opportunity to have the least leverage and the highest gains that way. I don't know if you trade similarly. Um, so lately I've been trading a lot of options, which has been great. Actually, because I don't have time to manage individual share positions or get in and out quickly. But do you trade? Are you kind of on that same front, or are you scalping? Are you?
hmm. Yeah, it's funny. So um, how do I best answer that question? Well, I loved hearing it, right? I loved hearing it, start to finish. I thought that's a nice question. And by the time he'd finished speaking, I thought, I'll be your friend for life. You're a really nice guy. Um, the place that I came from is when I was about 10 or 11. I read a book called, or maybe earlier or just after, I read a book called Bonfire of the Vanities. And in
Amazing
that,
book.
there is one of the main characters, the antagonist, So he's famous for a quote where he talks about masters of the universe and his job is this job. And so I wanted that job to find out how much of a arrogant hypocrite that would get to that point and mess that up, and the storyline itself would capture my attention. And I hated the guy and I wanted to, he was like something to aim to beat. So from that age, I wanted to be a trader. And pardon me with the M's. And I was I got a lot of knockbacks before I was even maybe 13 or 14. So I was very lucky to find myself through chance and fate at a really good school. And in that school, I had really good competition. So I had to do well, which was the first time in my life that I felt there was a need to do it, because at this stage I'd fucked off everybody that cared about me so much that I had to, I kind of had a reason to do something which I hadn't actually tried to do before. So I got really good and got in a good university, and at university was recruited to work for a really large investment bank, headhunted at university through these little things you do when you go on like extracurricular crap.
Yeah.
And then the person that had recruited me moved to a different bank in between me leaving university and going there. So then I went there, went through various different places and working on various sides of things with them, very and within various proximity to different funds. And then after that, spent about and was there was like getting training and was around people who themselves had been doing the job, some of them for 40 years. Um, Went from there to learning about how to do it myself for another 15 or 16 or 17 years. So I have come through all of those um, different fads and all the different things that have come and gone in terms of interest for different subcultures and communities, or have captured somebody's attention here, there, ever. And that's why I can tell you that the GameStop chart is something I've never seen before. And if it goes parabolic twice, it's something nobody's ever seen before. And
Yeah.
it will be the best chart anyone's ever traded in their life. Um, but because I've been through it all, like I know, and I've got put like how do I how holy sugars, what a big donation I just got. The way I look at things are like how do I then go on to the next part of explaining that answer? This answer could take weeks, eh?
Yeah.
So I'm sorry I don't have the ability to make it shorter and more concise, but I'll stick with it and try and get it out because it's probably a good thing for people to hear. So so let's take a jump forward in time now, from that time to now, and see. Not now, but a year ago, I start on YouTube. Pardon as my desktop notifications are up loud, because at the same time my volume for you is up, so it might interrupt people in my stream. Sorry about that. Yeah, the I start on YouTube, and I think I see my brother Rocky Outcrop, youtube.com/Rocky Outcrop, fucking absolute hero, best friend. Would never be, I wouldn't be here right now if it wasn't for him in so many ways, as I'll go on to explain it in this particular little way. He started his YouTube channel all about trying to get 1,000 good traders, because both of us have always believed you can change the world, and that's always been our objectives. And if you were to be at all interested to look into our history, you'll see that that's always been something we've done. This isn't our first fight. And yeah, so he's doing YouTube, and he's got this objective, and it's really kind of inspirational, and he's doing a good job. And I think I can help him by starting on YouTube and add to the message he's putting out there by giving people all the things I've learned over all the years and delivering them in 7 or 8 minute YouTube videos that somebody else doesn't have to then go through multiple liquidations. They don't have to get the qualifications. They don't have to prove themselves against their peers in order to get a tiny number of jobs and be treated like beforehand you're special, and once you're in the door you're a slave. You don't have to go through all of the difficulty, and you can still get all of the lessons in a really quick way. So that was my objective starting on YouTube, and my way of trading at that point becomes relevant in a couple of ways, namely in that a big part of it is based on open interest, because that's how I read those people who did the job that I previously would have done. And because I can't see exactly what they're doing, I can tell the effect that I had when I was doing it on that part of the market and
Mhm.
how to hide and move money and trades in that sense. So that was so very much of what I thought I would add in terms of value and teaching and trying to, as I say, like try to coin different phrases to make them like mnemonics and people get the message quicker. Um, with open interest and this idea of like spotting how other people trade and swimming with the whales. I talk about that as being trading on this, like trading from this side of the rich poor divide,
Yeah.
because it's not smart money. It's just that they've got so much money that they control the market. So
Mhm.
trying to communicate to people how to see what you'll the effect people have in a sort of a cognitive logic, like logical inference, rather than because you can't ever detect the black hole itself. So that was always my objective. And then, and so then you've got like an intersection of two stories now, what brought me to GME and what kind of trader I am. I'm a trend trader. I've learned that that's, for me personally, the only type of trading that works. I think that within that, you can make the most of your moves by being a reversal trader or a breakout trader. And a huge part of that is momentum. But it's also volatility, volume, and
Mhm.
trend. And ultimately it's trend. So that's how I do it. And my skills that other people say, like, wow, how do you come from the future and whatever? It's because how I build the charts together is like constructing the framework in order to give me the best um, congruent sight through the different timelines in order to understand how somebody who previously might be doing my job would be trying to hide their actions, and at the same time what the technical tells me about the charts. And then beyond that, it's all about the technical lessons I've learned since then. So I'm like a trader that believes that it can be aptitude, it can be attitude, you can be born for it or you can learn it afterwards. I don't think there's much of a distinction between the two, because it all comes down to hard work and it's hours in the charts. So I picked up on GME partly because other people had sent me newsletters talking about that and other things at the time. Got interested in GME, spotted that it was looking good on a particular trend, got a little bit of a position, and then entered more and more from there until this day. And I'm a trend trader, and I think it's a really strong trend. So I'm still here, obviously.
Yeah,
And then,
no, I agree with that
yeah, so
entirely.
that's like, so that's how I see things, And I think like if you are a reversal trader or a breakout trader, if you're a good one and you're still here 20 years from now, it's because you're also really good at spotting a trend, and that's the truth about what I'll trade. Anything with a trend, that's what
Yeah.
I'll trade.
I mean, I definitely trade the trend, and I try to keep my money off the table as long as possible until I am trading the breakout and the momentum of that breakout. But yeah, definitely spotting the trend is essential uh, if you plan on making an entry at any point. Um, that's something actually it's really interesting that I feel like more people should know about, and I try to express it to like my Discord, and I have like a small community of people that are really interested in trading outside of GME, and I'm trying to kind of cultivate the idea of educating themselves, kind of like the Feynman technique. Like if you want to know something, research it, learn more about it, discover it, right? Because in the discovery and that knowledge that you've gained, you then have confidence, right? Which is a huge part of trading, is being confident with your money, right? I mean, so many people are so afraid of losing what little they have that they don't realize that many parts of the market are essentially a wallet where you can put money in and a few weeks later take more money out than you put in the first place, right? It's just this idea
Ha!
of
It's
turning,
magic. It's a magic wallet.
right. But it's denied to everybody. I mean, I went to school for finance at a top university, and they don't teach you anything about trading, right? They don't teach you the idea of trading. They teach you about value investment, poring over SEC documents and figuring out the EBITDA and the PE ratios and like really analyzing the value of the company itself. But they don't really teach you that you can just skim money off the top and leave the company by the wayside, which is what they ultimately do mostly on Wall Street. Don't get
Yeah,
me wrong. There's
Wall Street is so many people that have spotted an opportunity. The natural degradation of society is hyper accelerated in that culture, and it's also chock a block over congested and full of people that can only survive by eating each other. The truth is that they survive on the narrative that they're liquidity providers. The effect of that is that we, the majority, the people, those who involve everyone watching your stream and my stream, every single person who's in GME, and 99.999% of every human being alive, ever living, dead, or future born, is prevented from taking advantage of being that liquidity provider ourselves. We
mm-hmm.
don't get that. So we have to work within the different parameters. And the
Yep.
truth is, we're only left with a couple of ethical ways to trade. Somebody asked me recently, what would it be like if everybody was just trading and no one was working? And the answer is, man, robots are coming for your fucking job. If everybody was trading, we'd be providing the fucking liquidity that makes the world go round,
mm-hmm.
that then we could do it in an ethical way that provided finance for companies that are going to change the world for the good of the people instead of for the smaller and smaller bank accounts where most of the world's money is going all the time in the trillions of dollars over and over and over as normal people live and die tragic lives and go through completely unnecessary pain for a bunch of fucking bastards just so that they can keep on ruling the world, just so that their fucking children can exist and be stupid.
Yeah. Oh
We
yeah.
all have to
Well, I
live
tell I
under a
tell
stupid system.
I tell all my viewers that the American dream is to be rich enough that your children can grow up useless and stupid.
Yeah, well, I think that so many people have tried to. I mean, it's clear that American founding fathers are some of the greatest people to take lessons from. I think that also over here in Scotland, where the birth of the Enlightenment, are where you'll find many heroes if you're looking for them. I think that the American dream is to be able to make the most of your abilities in a fair way in a free market. And I think that anybody who tells you that it's not so that you can buy a house and then later on it's so that you can't buy a house, it's so that you can get fuel for your car or you can't get fuel for your car, and later on it's so that you can have a job at all, they'll just constantly reduce and reduce and reduce what the American dream ever was. And the truth
Yeah.
is, it's just a simple truth that every man and woman should be able to exploit their abilities in a free and fair way.
Yeah, I agree. And then something else I wanted to go into that you brought up there was about kind of watching how big money moves. And that's something I've been discussing with GameStop a lot lately. I'm sure you understand the market psychology behind what they're doing right now, driving the price down as quickly as they reasonably can without some bounce back, and this slow steady bleed that they're kind of dragging us all through. And I'm sure every day you get questions from your audience. I know I do mine about, you know, what's happening. I don't understand this. If the stock's valuable, why is it not going up?
Yeah, it's nothing new.
They're watching the
It's
money
nothing new.
drain
Yeah.
out of their account dollar by dollar, minute by minute, and something that I'm really trying to show everyone is, what's been going on lately with GameStop is that you see the long funds aren't buying the stock, right? Like before they were. Before the long funds would come in and drive the price up as the shorts were attempting to cover on those T+2 and T+6 cycles after they made, synthetic shares, the market makers are trying to come back in and cover their gamma exposure. Um, but you're seeing this layering now of just building a gamma ramp every week and then rolling it over, right? And I try to express to people the reason is because the buyer's already built into the trade. Long funds already know that they don't need to buy the stock anymore. There's no reason. They just let the shorts drive it down, build the gamma ramp out of the money above them, and then eventually the shorts are going to have to buy into that ramp, you know? And the fact that they're doing it so consistently week over week means that the time frame is dwindling. You know, they know that the shorts are overexposed. They know their position. And so and I'm trying to explain that, you know, that's it's the gamma ramp is leveraged and it's cheap. So they can the minimum amount of capital deployed for the maximum amount of leverage on the stock is going to just print them more money than we can imagine. And that's the most bullish thing that I see going on right now. You know, you can look at the charts and everything, but they're lackluster right now. The volume's low. Like our trend is good, but the volume is killing technical analysis left and right. I mean, we're trading at historic lows day after day after day as the liquidity in the stock dries up, and our bid ask spread is, I mean, I shit you not, today $24, 10 places down in the order book, $24 bid ask spread. You honestly, you don't even see that on penny stocks. That's I mean, when the shorts start to buy and you start to get delta hedging coming in from the market makers, the price is going to go up so fucking fast. Um, I don't even think I wasn't even prepared for this back in February or March. You know, I wasn't prepared for how explosively this can rise in price. Um,
Yeah, this is the thing. Like people focus on extremes, and that naturally emotionally is highs and lows. Our expression that you and I are most commonly interfacing with is the highs and lows on the charts, and we try and decouple the emotions from each other.
mhm.
And the way you put it there, the start and the middle and the end, again, what you were talking about is various things are interesting about it, and I'm also chime with some of the things I'm seeing in my chat. Um, and like so I'd start off with maybe slightly out of context and say if anybody, your chat or my chat, wants to know more about who I am or where I came from, the story is all on my channel and everything about me is live, raw and projected on a screen, and nothing's censored or edited. And I came from nothing and have worked myself up to where I am with various disasters along the way, and my parents did the same and grew up in houses without electricity or water. And I believe in being able to make the most of your abilities, and that's why we are all here in GameStop, as a greater expression of maybe not my individual story, but I think it's a lot of people's. What they're trying to do to stop us on the other side of the trade would be, initially they try and use our own psychology against us, but I can tell you, coming from that place, that I've got a very long vision, a very distant horizon. And so I'm not necessarily um, vulnerable to the same sorts of things that other world people will be emotionally and psychologically, plus have an experience of seeing what they'll be trying to do on the charts. And as such, can see where I'm going with things and really don't need to worry and can light the path for other people so that they don't need to. And although those two things seem unconnected, they're actually very much connected, because in the first instance they're trying to trick everybody. Their best way of doing that is by keeping it as higher, if it is has to be higher lows, then at the very least lower highs. On the 2 day, 3 day and weekly time frame, we've most recently put in what was our previous lower high, and so the theory of Wyckoff distribution is nearly dead in the water. A
Yeah.
weekly open and close above 343 will put the bed that narrative, and I think lead to big rises in the price regardless of MOASS. And secondly,
Agree.
when they can't do that, they resort to hoping for what some people call comically sideways capitulation, which is not that price traction drops so much that you give up through fear of it going to zero, because they now know that's not possible. But their only now trick left is to extend time so that your real life interferes with your investment decisions, so that your partners and those parents or children or anybody in your life that relies upon you starts to question your sanity for
Hmm.
still being in this play.
Well, it
And
makes you
so then
question your own.
Yeah, so now this is it. This is a psychological battle that a lot of people are subject to. But if you are like so many people who've been in this from the beginning, or even because of the narrative that we've talked about, the bastards that run the world, then you're likely somebody who's come from very little or nothing. Or if you're not, then congratulations and thanks for being here with us. And we're always not, nobody here is against the top 1%. It's against the gluttonous 0.1. And anyone who's on the right side of history is doing themselves a favor as well as everybody else. Uh, but if you've come from very little, then your horizon so very far away that we aren't normal traders and aren't going to paper hand out of this or shit the bed in the way that a lot of other market participants perhaps would do.
Mm-hmm.
And so the story of GME, when it's finally told, will include many chapters on the forbearance and the patience of us, despite how passionate and eager we are to see our objectives achieved.
Well, I mean, it's like honestly, I'm not a huge fan of the movie, but when they say when Michael Burry says I was early, but I'm not wrong. And we're really in that position right now. Like these, sometimes it's hard to get across, the value of $1 billion and how it's really just not that much. And then you're dealing with firms that control hundreds of billions. And people ask, how long can they do this for? How long can they bleed for? And they will bleed until they're dead because they have no other choice. It's survival for them, right? And
Yeah,
so,
it's existential choice, right?
yeah, and
They
and
don't
and so
actually literally don't have a choice.
since
And
we've
it's us
backed
that
them into a
previously
corner,
listed. Yeah, we
sorry.
used to live under the illusion of free will, but we always had free choice. And now they have neither. They have to respond in this particular way, and they have to desperately hope that the dynamics work in their favor, which they aren't doing because it's true that the large institutional players that are also their competitors are long on GME. So, I mean, they're fucked.
Yeah, and we're going in for our fourth now test of that high, that like kind of baseline resistance at 350. And it's hard to get across the idea that these guys have so much money that they're letting it happen, right? When it goes up to 350, it's not because they don't want it to, right? They're letting that occur and they're doing it because there's people trapped there, right? There's positions trapped above that price, there's positions trapped around that price, and when people feel that elation, that relief of that pressure, they sell, right? They paper hand, and that gives them, a few more shares to drive the price back down and stagnate it for a little bit longer. But that fourth test, there's not many paper hands left.
Yep.
Most people who've been in this from the beginning, like if you wait VWAP back in February at our low, right? If you wait the VWAP from that point, it's just at 180 across the board, which means everybody's position in GameStop right now is between 198 and 162, right? Within a 10% range of $180. And everyone, talks about that battle for 180, and that's why, right? Because that's where
Well, I
we're
mean, yeah,
most
that's
comfortable.
one expression of why it is. Personally, I don't put much time into using VWAP, but I see that it's good and people do like it. Yeah. But in that same expression, because I feel like it to be an intraday exclusively good for intraday trades. And I do find it's really helpful when I'm day trading or I'm doing that kind of thing. But when I'm looking across that sort of time frame, like even including back to at the end of last year when I would have been in the trade, I like to look at just on trading view on the VPVR, the visible profile, visible range,
Okay.
which tells you like the point of control, which is essentially where most trades have been with that price action on the chart. And it's not all that different. At the end of the day, it's exactly the same message it
Same
tells you.
idea, yeah.
Yeah.
Different. I try to get that message across to people is that that was one of the first things that caught me up when I first started trading. So maybe a little background on me, I guess. I graduated with a degree in finance. I went into an internship at a reputable fund and got offered a position. working with a trader on a desk there, and I hated it. I fucking hated the culture. I hated the people. Um, it seemed like a long slog to just get what I could get on my own. And one of my
Mhm.
professors told me I should try trading. I was speaking to him one time, and he's like, check out these books and look into this. He's like, I really think you have the psychology to pursue this. And so I did. And I worked at the same time while I day traded. I paper traded for years before I actually put my own money up. And it's such a I grew up in similar situations. I grew up dirt poor with a single mother, and it's hard to risk what you've earned when you've grown up like that. It's so hard to even a 2% risk of your liquid capital is it's so frightening when you first jump into it. And I did, and I was successful. Luckily, I never burned an account, and I know how lucky I am to have never been in that position. Um, and I think it was just because my risk tolerance was almost zero. I would not risk, and to this day, I won't risk capital. And I don't view GME as a risk at all. And I would say 97% in it now, um, which is tough sometimes, but you hold because ultimately being right is the most important part of this. And for me, and I want people to follow along. And I thought that there was no good information out there on GameStop. I was watching guys, and I don't like to bash other YouTubers, um, particularly. I don't take joy in it, but I can't be dishonest about what they do. And what they do is they're selling a YouTube channel, and they're selling whatever cheap stock will support that channel. And if it runs and it's exciting, they sell it to gamblers. And those people, gambling is trading is not gambling, right? Trading is at worst like a Texas Hold'em tournament, where you have chips and your goal is to get all the other chips and not lose the chips you have. And the thing they're selling, I think, is disingenuous if they know what
And
they're
take
doing.
everybody else's chips
Yeah,
and
ideally.
preferably do it in a dramatic style with loads of panache and charisma so
Yeah.
that you also take their girlfriend at the end of the day.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
no, I'm with you, man. I'm with you. Like,
I
this is
feel,
where I
and
look at
you don't
trading.
strike me as that guy. You don't. I have seen enough of your stuff, and I've heard enough from my audience, who I trust, obviously, and I, I I don't think you're that guy, and that's one of the reasons I agreed to come do this with you. And one of the reasons I did that with Houston is Houston's kind of just an intelligent guy who likes the stock. But like when it comes to reaching out to those other YouTubers, I think what they're doing is should be fucking criminal, because they're robbing people of their money, right? and
Yeah, they
and
are. Yeah,
it's
they are.
true.
You see, you talk about there, and that's a distinction that I tried to get out before this GameStop stuff started on my videos, along with promoting the technical analysis and a perspective with regards to open interest. I also tried to talk about how there are two kinds of ways of two people that are successful when it comes to trading over time. One of those are people who do gamble, and one of those, the other ones, people who don't. And you can actually make more money from doing safer trades than you can from taking high risk trades. So a lot of people are looking for like 15 to ones, 50 to ones in terms of the risk reward. Obviously, like you obviously know this, but just for
Wall
people
Street
who
bets.
don't, yeah, exactly right. So people who don't know this, probably haven't been in it for very long. But if you're like me and you've been doing this to pay your bills and other people's bills, and even more so, especially during the pandemic, but previous to that for years and years and years, then you'll know that you can take trades with a risk reward, risk being how much you're prepared to lose. So your stop loss will define that and you can
Yeah.
limit that. And your reward being your upside, where you'll take profits, but you can also save some, leave it on the table, and use a trailing stop loss or a mechanism, either using Donchian channels or Williams fractals or your own understanding with support and resistance to follow that trade and take profit at sensible levels while also letting your winner run and potentially going in wherever it does, right? So you don't limit
Follow
your
the
top
trend.
side.
Yeah.
But you can do that off trades with a risk reward that have an upside of only 1.5
Mm-hmm.
if you have an edge that's effective and you understand and you're applying it properly to the charts. And if you do it on when you're only looking for a 1.5 reward, not only will you get far more of those trades because you'll get signals all the time, right? So you're already up now on the gambler because you're already getting more trades than they do. You'll also be able to take profits sooner. And as such, you'll be able to compound your benefits sooner. And then by the time you've actually exploited anything like the amount of extra opportunities you're going to have, you'll be up exponentially on the gambler. And so trading safe is always better.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why trade spotting is the ends and the means to get you to your hopes and your dreams.
I mean, yeah, I agree. I definitely try to practice low risk, low reward scenarios. That's the majority of my trades. I've been swinging more lately, which I'm not fond of because I generally view most options as 100% loss, which is a good way to view it, in my opinion. I know they're not. You can take leaps, you can reduce your exposure, but I've been doing that a bit more lately. I'm not super fond of it. I generally have a 2% risk on any trade, but I really try to get across that message of compounding gains. You know, if you're making 5-10% a day on your net capital, you're going to beat any Wall Street bets, big gain porn post you'll ever find in the long term. And that's what it's really about. It's really about creating a sustainable lifestyle of trading that would, and I tell people, you know, they're like, oh, I want to quit my job and I want to trade and I want to do this. I love this. I'm like, you know, paper trade and do it to, if nothing else, to beat your own high score, you know, and make sure that quarter over quarter, you're making more than you would at your job. Then
Yeah,
quit,
and
then
like
quit and
and
commit.
start at the start. Hey, stop being a fucking fanny, try to take shortcuts at every fucking opportunity. This is one of the hardest things you can ever do in your life. The smartest people in the world are attracted to it, and yet still 90% of them lose money.
Yep.
Of the people who do it for a job at some of the world's largest hedge funds, who know all the information that you'll never know, have experience that you'll never have, and work with people that have gone through it and passed their information on to them, and lives you'll never lead, only manage to make money just over 50% of the time.
Yeah.
You know, you're never going to fucking get there if you skip the hard parts at the start. And so you have to understand all the things we've talked about previously. You have to know how to take safe trades frequently in the right way. You have to develop your edge. You need to understand the charts and do proper technical analysis. And once you're able to do that and you're good at it, then you can use various different financial instruments to make the most of your abilities. So you might then start saying, well, on those trades that I previously talked about are in profit and you're letting your winners run, you've got your stop loss in an area where no matter what happens, you'll end in profit. You can then flip that to a leverage position, take your capital out of that trade. You then get capital efficiencies. Capital efficiencies lead to capital, you lead you accumulating more and more wealth over time, like we said, in a compound fashion. And then you can also use different option trades to cover that position. And you can then measure the delta of a position that you took because it was with the trend or a reversal to the mean. You could have taken it in a really safe manner, and you can use proper risk management on entry. After that, you can then get to a position of luxury where you won't lose money on that trade. Then you can flip to position management. And instead of managing that position by, oh, how much money am I going to make? You can take that opportunity, take that capital, and then use it to make more opportunities for yourself. And it's like Sun Tzu said, opportunities seized multiply as they are seized. So then you can use option trades to hedge against your own trade, and you can measure the delta of it, take the equivalent number of shorts. Then when that position, do that when it meets resistance. When the price drops, you can close those shorts. You can bank that profit and still hodl that asset accumulate any extra benefits you get from holding it, such as dividends, and then you can also perhaps loan in those shares out. Then those prices return and go up again. You're making money. You're on the train to fucking Tendy Town, and then when it gets higher, you've closed your shorts because you measured your delta. Even if when it was going up and you weren't closed quick enough, you weren't losing money because you've balanced your position. You've got stop losses on them. You check out of them in profit, and then you open other types of trades on other type of instruments, and you can build in future markets. You can make so much money if you learn the basics properly. You'll lose fucking everything if you try to skip around the big learning curves you've got.
You lose every
And they
fucking
take
penny.
years. They take years.
Yeah, they do. You're right. All right. Let's get to some other stuff because I feel like we're gonna throw some people off here. With getting too deep into trading strategies. Um, oh, well, actually, one more strategy. Your exit strategy for GameStop. Have you gotten a chance to see mine? No. Okay, so I wrote an exit strategy that ignores price for GameStop because
That's
I've
so funny because my whole story on when moon is about removing the x-axis, and your story about when Lambo, like then taking the money off the table, is about removing the y-axis. I like it. It's the perfect combination.
yeah, it's and you know it's I feel like people need to we have no fucking clue how high this can go, right? Like we have an idea in some instances, like we know how excessive the short position is, but with the bid ask spread and the liquidity drying up like this, with reports coming in of uh, retail investors owning 100, 200 times the float, the range on this is just astronomical. 480 was before Citadel and Point 72 and Susquehanna even came close to being margin called, right?
Mm-hmm.
When those guys get fucking margin called, the explosiveness that we know is going to come with that wide bid ask spread. And additionally, the number of shares that need to be bought back there's no way to put a scope on that price. Like I think the largest single day gain in a stock was Gateway when they announced their new CEO, and it went up like 28,000 something percent in one day. And GameStop could just exceed that. That was just sentiment, right? That was sentiment in like a 7% short position. You look at
Which is a
AMC.
really important narrative because part of that formula there for the volatility is due to the low volume. And this is the danger, that the people that can only fight against us can only do it through time and extending our and fighting our psychology. It
Mhm.
also causes that decrease in the volume, which leads to the potential increase in the volatility, which a natural consequence of is the crazy range,
What
which is
gets me
then
is
what kills
nobody
them.
nobody is fucking selling, right? 98 million in collateral deposited yesterday. 98 fucking million dollars to borrow 615,000 shares, right? And they dropped the fucking prices where it was at open yesterday. Already.
Mm.
We're already bounced back. There's nobody. They're driving down trying to get those stop losses, and there's fucking nothing there. It's a desert. And and
Yeah,
and,
retail,
and
there's fuck all left to take down there. And I had the institutional order flow up on a chart there a few days ago, end of last week. And we were looking at it, and you could see that they were putting in higher lows when we were getting a head and shoulders. So we were putting in like lower lows. And the time it happened really fucked me off because you're supposed to be able to make these decisions yourself, like, and trade sensibly and whatnot, and you don't actually know what's going on when they're doing that. But like even institutionally, even there where they're fucking with each other, there doesn't seem to be that people want it to go much lower. So and that's what when you see that sort of order flow start going congruent with ours, the two charts look like they're in a positive relationship, and they're both pointing upwards,
Mhm.
that positive splay, then it's like you say,
well,
so,
have you been tracking the GameStop options chain?
I've been looking at the order flow, the option order flow, and it's like dry as a bone compared to other things. But
So
then
what's
looking at the
interesting is if you looked at the ETFs.
mhm,
Yeah, okay. So the
exactly.
ETFs that contain GME that, by the way, should no longer, given the Russell 1000 rebalancing. But if you look at like IWM, the number of in the money puts that they're buying in order to get the market maker to short on their behalf, because there's no available shares, right? So they have to create short liquidity by buying those in the money puts.
Yeah,
They're buying out in the last 4 weeks now, since the share offering. They have been buying out. They're the fucking in the money puts are illiquid now. They've bought them out through January of 2023. They've created illiquidity in the fucking options market with this. $4 billion in expenditure to keep the price flat, right?
yeah,
They're not even driving it down anymore. They're just keeping it flat. And if anything shows their hand, right, and shows how fucked they are, it's that they would spend that kind of money to not make a profit. Right?
yeah,
There's no profit in that, right? Like they fucking exercise it. They're still out the premium, and they're just to keep us trading 162 and lower, right? Just to keep us trading from, because they can't have that test at 180 again, right? Because that picks up market sentiment. People start to FOMO in. It's the same reason
mhm,
every time we get good news, they short it every morning, right?
mhm.
Like we get like some, GameStop production facility opened up or order fulfillment center, and the next morning slammed with shorts, right? And that's because they can't let that fear of missing out foment on the stock and realize,
Yeah.
because the second
Also,
that
they
FOMO
know
kicks in, it's
yeah,
going to drive the price so hard.
yeah, and within that, that trigger, it's like an atom. You get down and you look into it, and you can see that it's actually made up of like these smaller particles, and one of them is this profit signaling mechanism to huge liquidity providers, and one of the largest flows of money, talking about money flows, is hot money. Where's it going overnight? Where can I make the most money with regards to protecting my wealth from inflation and interest and tax and all those other considerations? And where does this money flow around? And if they see that there's the opportunity to make money on GameStop by putting their huge amounts in over a short period of time, and that they can then exit in a reliable way, then that's a huge profit signaling mechanism,
Mm-hmm.
and liquidity will flood in on our side of the trade just for normal consequences of the oscillations of money. And if we've got a negative, when I say we, but if it's has and demonstrates and continues to put in negative beta, then it's going to be like so obvious to anyone who's sitting there on the sidelines wondering where they put their money for a period of time. So it's just even within that trigger of what could cause the big moves, there's like so many little things that they have to fight against. And so, you say like, well, it cost them this much. And it's like back to what we talked about earlier. It's like, well, what fucking choice have they got?
None. They
Yeah.
don't, and it's because I feel like it's coming to the point, and here's where it gets really fucking unfair, right? Is people in the industry. I know, people I went to school with who work in the industry, people I've been in trading forums with for years that work at trading desks and stuff, and big money is just keeping their money off the table, right? Because why the fuck would they spend it when they know retail's just holding the floor for them, right? They can go make money in these other trades, and we don't really have that option as retail traders. And it's
Yeah.
it's one of the reasons we can't really day trade the stock is because um we have to hold that position, because if it spikes, we won't be able to afford to buy back in, right? We
Yeah, well,
can't.
it's obvious the answer, isn't it? It's like you're sit out there and you're, um, like so many of these people, like you and I are very similar generation, and
I think so,
compared
yeah.
to perhaps some of the other people who are in this trade either side of us,
Mm-hmm.
and you're sat there and you're divorced or single, and you've got like unreliable income and you work hard or you can't get a job, um you feel the pain of being invested in GameStop. It's a huge opportunity cost, And so like the but people's logic, those same people's logic fails them when they come to say like, well, why aren't the big people investing in this if they know there's so much money? It's like, well, they themselves base so much of their whole business around opportunity cost, and they're not going to chuck money into something that somebody else is trying desperately to hold off for ages. You know, that's the definition of opportunity cost.
Mm.
When they can just see it get to certain levels and jump in, when it
Yeah,
gets to opens above 343, it's going to go up hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of percent. So what do they care between here and now? They don't fucking care,
at all.
you know.
Yeah. I try to get that across to people that big money doesn't give a shit if the stock's 150 or $350, right? We do. We care about averaging down and buying the dip, and which I fucking hate. I hate the buy the dip mentality, but what are you going to do? You know, like people want to try to get into their position cheaper. I understand. And the amount of capital we have to deploy is minimal, and so it's advantageous for us that they are dipping it this low. That they're giving us these repeated opportunities to get in, because otherwise a lot of people wouldn't be able to. But I mean, when an institution looks at this investment, they go, "Oh, you know, if that can go to 10,000 a share, or 20,000 a share, or 30,000 a share, why the fuck do I give a shit if I buy it at 150 or 350 or 400? You know, I can just let those people hold the floor with their capital, and I can go deploy my capital, making profit literally everywhere else in the market for the 8 months that they drag this shit on, right? And then when the time comes, I'll buy when it
Mm-hmm.
hits that resistance where I know the shorts are fucked. You know,
Mm-hmm.
when their net capital requirement is met, I'll buy in and push them out, and then I'll buy all their assets at liquidation cost from across the market, thereby cementing my power and consolidating it. Right, and it's a fucked up game, man.
Yeah,
Right?
and you don't want to have a fight against these people unless you've got something other than a profit-driven motivation. If your values are exclusively about profit, then there's these other people that we might think would be our erstwhile allies. There you're going to go and do other things in the meantime. It has to be that you've to withstand that level of attrition, of sideways price action, and the dips and everything else. You have to have something other than just profit to maintain your own position between here and there. You have to have this belief that you can change the world and you can do it by holding this thing. So that's why you hold it. That's why you've got the forbearance. That's why you go through this experience, this journey, this odyssey, because you know that it's depends upon you doing it and everybody else that you look around and do the same thing. It depends upon them doing it too, and that's why we have to be the ones that take it from 150 to 350, and ultimately we have to be the ones that take it above it, so that it'll then go on to thousands. And I don't know the narrative in AMC, but I do respect people that are in it are very similar to the general consensus of people, like the without being the hardcore or even the fringes of it, maybe of GME. But some of the market participants are very similar, and at least a lot of people are in both. And like you never want to alienate people. And the truth is, like, while I do want to focus on GME exclusively, I do see AMC up at like $97 or just above that and whatever, just because of the charge. Like, and I don't know about the DD, and
Yeah, I
I
think I
don't,
can
you
get
know.
near 100, like projected price. Um, but yeah, I mean, I really try not to alienate AMC people, but I do try to let them know that like they've been sold a bill of goods. You know, they're not one and the same. Um, there's almost no comparison, right? On one side you have a debt-ridden, failing business model, and the other side you have a profitable company with like an excellent forward-looking prospectus, right? And then you have, you know, one with a float that is 1/10 the size of the other. And I do try to explain in the most reasonable terms I can. I get pissed about it sometimes, right? Because I
Mhm.
do think it's fucking stupid, and I hate that, you know, people have been driven into that investment. But I understand the reason why, because they don't have a lot of money, and they think that it's like it's like buying like the discount version of something at the grocery store, right? Because it's all you can afford, and for that, I hate the people that stream AMC exclusively even more, because they're taking advantage of the lowest common denominator in this, right? They're taking advantage of the people that really don't have a lot, that really, maybe those people could own one share of GameStop and realize truly life-changing gains, right? But instead they have 100 shares of AMC, and maybe, they'll be able to pay their rent next year. And that I fucking, I can't stand. I can't tolerate it, and I, as much as I try to be reasonable, some of the people have just been, they're so fucking bullheaded about it. It's really hard to get the point across. And I do, I have people on my channel that have sold their AMC. They sold it at $70. It's a fucking great exit. And they've bought GME. And, for those people, good on them. I mean, I obviously, like, I'm in no position to tell them what to do with their money, but I feel like they've made a fucking great choice. And I hope that when they exit GME and when they realize that growth, they do it in a calm, equitable fashion, and they try to maximize their gains there. And that's kind of back to my exit strategy on that, was that I I wrote it because Reddit seemed to have this idea that you could just buy and hold, and there was nothing else to this. And there's so much fucking more, because at the end of this, you have to be a shit, not even an okay trader. You have to be seasoned, right? You need to, because those exits are going to be volatile. Those brokerages are going to shut down. Every every single way they can fuck with us, they will, right? You think the DTCC wants to give you their fucking money? They don't, right? Their members don't. And when it comes to the end of this, those people are going to need to know how to trade those peaks. They're need to know how to set stop limits so they don't lose their position at a low peak, right? Because if you've, I've backtracked other short squeezes. If you go into them, I've traded some, rarely, but it's happened, right? You're in a position and it squeezes, generally not because you expect it to, but um if I try to teach them what orders to place, where to place them, how to manage that position so they can maximize profit over the curvature of that short squeeze, right? And and I hope that that message gets across to more people, because really at the end of this, you do have to know what the fuck you're doing. You can buy and hold all you want, but when you see $1 million in your bank account and you paper hand, you've affected nothing. You've not changed your life. You've maybe changed the next 3 or 4 years of it, and good on you, But have you really made a difference? Have you really changed anything? Are you gonna get the kind of money that you can change the world with? Absolutely fucking not. And for that to happen, you need. I feel like it's so imperative that people know what they're doing. And so when my audience is in there, I'm trading other stocks. I'm showing them volatile movement and how I'm exiting and how I'm moving through my positions. And fuck, I don't even know if I should do that legally. But it's not financial advice, right? I'm just streaming myself playing the world's best video game. And
Yeah, it's not financial advice. You're doing a good job of it, and I would recommend people check out your things and look at your TA and investigate for themselves what your exit strategy is like and how you've approached it and that. And I feel like to hear when you mentioned various types of um order types there, and like I like your thinking on it. And I can imagine, just having had this conversation, what your approach will be quite good. I like the way you think about things, man. Yeah. Also, there, like you say about how people like need to learn how to manage their finances, or at least manage this event so that they can then have the finances to manage their own environment. And like there are two ways. I think there are two ways. I think like um, there's some of us like yourself who have got a good message, and it encourages more people to join about how you'll have so much money to change the world. And like that's a very short way of saying like so many heartbreaking or like really inspiring stories all at once. And then there's the other aspect to it, where some people are like myself, and they've feel 2008 really keenly, and I'll never fucking stop going after these bastards. And so my way of changing the world in this instance is partly like yourself, helping people and up in their level of financial literacy and their own ability to control their life and derive self-empowerment from it. It's also um, along with that to destroy the bastards, and
Yeah.
if you can knock one over, that's like an amazing achievement. And along the way, people who are with me, some of them aren't right, like let's do it forever and never sell. Some of them want to sell one or two, at like stupidly high prices.
Well,
And
me and you both
and
know that there's a far cry from saying it now at 160 to saying it at 500,000. People's yeah. I'm
Yeah, I
sorry.
agree.
Go on.
There's that, and there's people that say it and mean it. There's people that mean it and won't say it, and there's everything in between. And I think every message helps because it's all about people buying it now. The truth is that people say they're going to do X, Y, and Z, but what actually takes over at the end of the day is their own greed and fear and envy. So they'll either sell far too soon, or if they are planning on sell, they'll hold far too long.
Yeah.
And that's what happens to everybody. They just do it all wrong all the time. It just happens all the time.
And the thing I hate the most is I'd hate to see one person with, 5 shares who's struggled for 8 months to hold that. I'd hate to see them end up selling early or being a bag holder,
Mm.
because
Yeah.
and I think when we get to those peaks, when we really see that volatility kick off and we see those price points that people talk about, which are, shit, it's crazy to think about, but they're possible, right? Like when they say 10 million's the floor, it really fucking could be, right? But who's going to be there, right? And honestly, the people that are going to be there are probably the people with the least to lose and the most to gain. Like the people that have 4x and 5x shares, it starts to look real fucking good for them at like 100 grand, right? But if you've got 5 shares or 9 shares or 11 shares, those are the people that are going to be,
Yeah, but you don't need to
really
worry, man. You
fucking
don't
faced
need
with
to
the
worry
balls.
about them. Your heart's too big. I could tell that listening to you for a couple of minutes. Your heart's too big. You don't need to worry about them. The truth is that you're right in everything you say, but also there's nuances to each of these different people you describe. And I don't know how like, I know some people who've got fuckloads of shares in GME,
Yeah, I do too.
fuckloads, and
Yeah.
I add up, 5 or 6 people that are in my chat regularly, and they've got incredible shitloads of fuckloads. They've got shitloads of
Do you
fuckloads,
want to do you want to
and
actually
their
hear
impression
something?
is to just their idea is they'll sell some here and there. They'll sell some here and there, and they want to be able to borrow against their wealth and hold like what might become the biggest company in the world. And some of them, like I mean, my whole idea is like, if you can't enjoy the time between now and MOASS, like try and up your own life, try and do better so that you've got more money to put into GME or to have a
Mm-hmm.
better disposable income, so that by the time it does happen, you can race everybody else to see how much you can own of the biggest company in the world, because there aren't going to be, like you say, there aren't going to be chances like this again.
No, there aren't. I agree. And also, just I've told people about this before. The opportunity for growth in GameStop doesn't exist. Even if MOASS never happens and the government steps in and stops it all and shuts it down, retail doesn't get the opportunity to buy stocks like this ever. They IPO at market. The fucking bag holders that bought in with $1 million bank accounts sell all their shares off onto retail and move on with their lives at,
They fuck them
yep,
down. They ruin the company. They
400%
make them
profit.
force them into a secondary offering.
Yep.
They fucking underwrite it at shit value. They scoop up all the shares. They chuck that company along with something else that they already own to exploit a bigger industry, to take more money off common people, to crush everybody in the value
I mean,
chain, take
look at
more of your
Coinbase.
opportunity.
Did you watch Coinbase, the IPO for Coinbase?
What a fucking joke. All right
I
at
know,
the
right?
fucking top of the market. The people on the inside of it completely fucking shit up. The
Yep.
wash trading that goes around with it. All the things that the backdoor deals they do to get in and out at the last minute. It's a absolutely massive message that our man GG is putting in the effort to try and sort out the GameStop saga before he gets round to sorting out the fucking bastards that have been fucking people with Coinbase et al. And those
I have
like,
some
it's a
other
complete
theories
joke.
on
It's a complete
Gensler.
fucking joke. Sorry, go on.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, so I agree. Gensler's definitely got a head for rooting out corruption. He's interested in it. He seems to be proceeding with that. We'll see how long his position lasts there. As you know, people who have that sentiment at the SEC generally don't last long. But he's there. They put him in place, and I think they put him in place because he can do something for them that other people can't, and that's that. I think he can work with the Fed and help create
Man,
a
I'll tell you why
U.S.
they put him in place. I'll tell you why they put him in place because of the coming fucking world war and because of his strategic understanding of the financial terrorism that America and its allies are going to inflict on those people who are stupid enough to challenge the current order. Uh, they're putting people in place to be able to handle these things. And he's somebody who has like an inside scoop on some aspects of it. And there's various other ones throughout government. So like they have to sort this shit out now
Yeah,
because we're the people that are going to be under attack shortly afterwards.
yeah. I mean, I agree. I think he offers them the benefit of being able to create a federal coin. I think the U.S. is gonna. I mean, did you hear about the thing with proof of work and proof of stake?
Aye,
That
man, I've been trading cryptocurrency for about 10 years
well, okay,
and
okay.
mining Ethereum for a better half of that. And then working on my own cryptocurrency with Rocky called picnic.network. You can check it out sometime. It's really good. Love your feedback on it.
Oh yeah,
And we're
absolutely.
trying to provide treasury as a service and think that like digital currency is the future. Of course it is.
I think the U.S. is going to try to front run that because they're not going to. I think they have a vested interest in not allowing any DeFi to destabilize the U.S. dollar, and I think Gary Gensler, while he may be on the side of retail investors as far as equities go, I think he's definitely going to be working hand in hand with the Fed in creating U.S. stable coins and U.S.
Yeah, and
blockchain
then the
system.
Fed themselves are like, you think of them as a level of government, but really they're not the ones that make the decisions behind the scenes.
Fucking money printer.
The whole world order is supported partly by Bretton Woods and that framework. What a lot of people don't understand is when they say like the world reserve currency is the US dollar, is that I am like many years ago, I in an undergraduate joint honors degree in economic history, and have a reasonable, let's say, reasonable understanding of economics, and again, sort of what I would call an adequate understanding of geopolitics. And I can tell you that the world reserve currency is actually SDRs, which is held and administered by the IMF.
Yeah,
And the largest portion of that is the US dollar. So it effectively is the world's reserve currency. But from a practical sense, that's not what it is to you and I, the retail investor. It is a safe haven when and a flight to capital is the place people go to. But there will be fluctuations because of the nature of GameStop, the nature of the greater market environment at the minute, and all the different things that are going on in geopolitics, where there will be so many other areas where your money might actually be better. And so this one event that is like unlikely to ever happen again, and where people would alternatively rush to gold or rush to the US dollar or their alternative version of like storing wealth.
yeah,
There aren't going to be those sort of opportunities, and there is going to be that opportunity in GameStop. So even the hint of a negative beta, even the hint of one,
yeah.
is fucking crazy if shit kicks off. And so the MOASS might not be anything to do with GameStop. It might be anything else in the world because of the touch paper could be lit, and it's so fucking likely it's so dry that it could just go up in flames in seconds.
Well, I think when you're talking about the negative beta, I think the first thing you're going to see is something you already see in the last two corrections we've seen on the S&P, right? Where we've seen that correction, we've seen the algos come in and buy the negative beta, right? Those hedging algorithms, they're coming in and they're seeing the negative beta and they're buying it. And which then greatly increases the negative beta, right? Like the more they move GameStop against the market, the more the negative beta increases. And I think a lot of people don't really understand how negative beta works, how it's just like
They don't,
trailing
or its
indicator.
implications in the idea of a gamma squeeze. And the gamma squeeze itself is sort of misinterpreted by people who exclusively have traded options their whole life. And so a lot of people don't understand a lot of the nuances that go into things. But the truth is, they don't have to if they've got a clear picture of the technicals on the chart, at
That's
which
true.
point they can say, here's support and resistance, here's momentum, here's volatility, this volume means these things about it, and all of that goes together for adding this particular weighting to this idea of this trend, which we can see throughout the time frames, means that if we fucking do this, shit's going to fucking go crazy. And so, like, there's that aspect to it. Technical analysis is actually a direct line to the truth and saves you going through so much other shit, rather than people saying, oh, why are people even doing TA on GameStop anymore?
Oh,
It's
don't
the
get me
only
fucking
thing
started with
worthwhile
those
doing on
people.
GameStop
Yeah, I know.
anymore because of that. And added value is that it'll get you better entries. It'll help people who are position management and entering and trying to improve their overall buy-in price. They'll be able to get better entries, keep their powder dry until better times, and then add better. And then that'll add momentum and it'll help the cause. So anyone who says TA doesn't work on GameStop, now I like that you appreciate my content. I'm sure you appreciate Girk's. I certainly do, and everything I've spoke to him about today, just to people in my chat, suggests that he's an absolute fucking legend. So you've definitely got my fucking seal of approval. Not that it means anything in the greater world, but to
You
the
got
people
mine
who
too, man.
believe me, thanks, buddy. Fucking and yeah. So like, what was I actually saying there? I completely fucking forgot. Anyway, yeah. Yes.
No, no,
So
no. You're right. You're right. I'm gonna follow up exactly on what you were saying. Is that these fucking ignorant assholes out there telling everybody TA doesn't work, don't buy options. Just one mantra after another, and they're bullshit because honestly, the only thing telling us the truth at this point is technical analysis because the only
exactly.
place these fuckers can't lie is on the chart.
Yeah, and when they do lie, it's the only place where you'll actually see it. You know,
Yeah,
you'll actually see
you can actually
divergence.
see the manipulation in real time. And so this is something that's come up recently. It's a really good sign of it is that we're watching these. So I call it the short hedge fund circle jerk, right? The only people trading the fucking stock right now are short hedge funds, right?
Uh-huh.
Because they're the only people keeping none of the longs are in, and retail buys, what, 20,000 shares a day at best, maybe 50,
There's fuck
on
all volatility. There's not
payday.
even day traders in this shit anymore.
Yeah, day traders don't want any fucking part of it because you never know when the short is going to slam it through a resistance, right? And basically, something I've been showing people is that we see these wide bid ask spreads and these leaps in the order book, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we'll watch as the market maker covers their T+2 on naked shorts, right? From their gamma exposure. And we'll watch and they'll buy like 3 shares and they'll sit, right? They'll wait for a lower ask to come in because they don't want to jump the fucking price. And you can just watch it stagnate on the charts. Like institutional orders for under 100 shares. What the fuck is going on here, right? It's
Yeah, who the
insane.
fuck is sitting at their computer and typing that shit in?
Somebody
It's
is, right? They've
ridiculous.
they've got
And
they've
and what's
actually
going
got
on?
a
The
guy.
people next to them are slapping them over the head. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
It's
but they
just,
can't, right? There was a point today where if they bought 20,000 shares at market, right? The fucking price would have jumped $24. They
Mhm.
can't risk that, right? GameStop jumps $24 in
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 in a
one
in a in a
in
one print on the
one
one
fucking
second chart.
tick. Do you know how many
Fuck,
fucking
fuck.
algorithms are gonna start buying it? Like,
Yeah, fucking crazy, man. Computers all around the world. Pa, bing. It's terrible.
oh yeah,
Terrible news. That they're fucked if that sort of shit starts happening, man.
yeah, and so it's fun to watch. Me and my audience definitely get a kick out of just watching these fucking absurd institutional orders come in where they're trying to flatline the stock at I think today it was like 159. They're just like one tick after another, zero trades for 15 minutes. and they're the only ones trading it, right? We're just sitting on the sidelines watching. The longs are buying, the gamma ramp that they buy every week and just waiting, and no one's doing shit. And eventually, this compounding loss for these short hedge funds is going to become so large that they can no longer stabilize the position. They're going to have
Yes,
to
well,
start
it's like
covering. And the
exponentially
second they
awful
start
for their
covering,
account. Sorry, yeah, go on.
oh yeah, the second they start covering it, it's gonna just take off. And I mean that's what we saw in January, right? It was like we saw Citadel and Point 72 bail out Melvin to keep that margin call off the table, right?
Yeah,
Because if
but not by
Melvin had
covering
gotten
their
margin
shorts, just
called,
by providing collateral for their side of the trade
I mean,
and then having to absorb their losses.
have you ever
And
seen a
because,
hedge fund loan another hedge fund $3 fucking billion in a
man,
wire transfer?
I'll tell you what I have seen, right? I've seen people try and like credit default swaps is a huge scam, and it's not all that different from what you just
So
said.
are
And then there's
ETFs.
even worse, there's like equity default swaps. And I've seen people absolutely and utterly destroy their fund and their company's funds
Oh yeah.
by thinking that they can even get away with talking to other traders about their own trades in certain ways. So the idea that you'd go out there and lend them that money, it can only be done in such a way as that everybody knows what's going on, and it's covering
Yeah,
somebody
I mean
else's
it's
fucking.
just it's literally a big red flag to
Yeah,
everybody on
yeah,
the market. And so they all know now.
exactly.
I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know a single person in finance who's not actively aware of what's going on with GameStop at this point, And it's really just a waiting game. Like let them bleed themselves out. And the DTC is going to pay everybody off. They're going to pack those losses into loans and shift them off onto the taxpayer in 20 years, right? As they sell that debt off. And it's fucked up, right? But that's how
Yeah, I
this is
like
going to
that
play
idea. I
out.
saw you mention that with Houston as well. They'll just repackage the toxic debt into into DTCC backed loans,
Yeah.
themselves then getting more of a stranglehold over the whole depository and clearing value chain.
Mm-hmm.
And that it's like you scammy fucking like and how do we really beat this evil? How do we get right
A
into the heart
different
of it
system.
and beat them there? And like it's because of this whole T plus whatever. It needs to be go back to T+1, and then it needs to go down to T plus fuck all, and it needs to be on the blockchain or some other better technology that's capable of doing instantaneous and verifiable, non-fungible, um, and completely and utterly safe transactions at scale. Until
Yeah.
such times as some technology better than crypto comes along, then you're going to need to have some form of it, and it needs to work directly on that T plus whatever, because that's what they exploit, that, and then they use the dark pools to further their liquidity agenda
Yeah.
itself, which is derived from the Chicago School of Economics, and its ultimate objectives are exclusively profit driven. And those same people believe that it should go more and more into smaller and smaller pockets because they think that's good for
Well, I
everybody,
think that's
and
a
then
big
concurrently
part of
believe
the
that huge crashes are necessary and that they should steal your wealth every couple of half a generation.
I mean, yeah, if you research historical crashes, you'll see that that is those crashes, those events, um, the dot com bubble, 2008, even the COVID crash. These are purely opportunities for the people who at the time have the leverage and capital to consolidate their power in the markets and over and over and over again, and those positions grow. I mean, you can look at how BlackRock leveraged themselves in 2008 to where they're positioned now. And the enemy of my enemy is my friend, but in the markets the enemy of my enemy is usually my enemy. um and yeah, and we're heading for another one of those events pretty rapidly right now. I've been adding a lot of spy S&P 500 analysis to my like weekly like write up that I do, because people need to know that this is also going on. This misleading of inflationary numbers. We're seeing liquidity pumped into probably solvable problems, but the Fed's just propping the market up because they have the power to, and instead of letting it fail. And what's interesting is I think their actual goal right now, this is fucking nuts, is they think that they can somehow prop it up until it's over, that they can prop up the market through this transitory inflation and it won't fall. And I
Hmm.
mean, the
That
market
term transitory inflation,
is
it's like
complete
it's quite
bullshit.
silly, because like
I mean, it's
of
already
course
priced into
the
bonds and
inflation
futures.
might be transitory, but it itself is a measure of change, and the change has occurred, which is why you were able to record it. I.e., prices have gone up and they're not going fucking back down again. Doesn't matter if it's transitory or not. I mean, by nature, of course, it is. It's intrinsically transitory. Saying it's redundant, people that do that are themselves shitting a brick. The on one level, you've never seen this level of liquidity pumped into the market
Never.
before
Yeah.
because of COVID. It
Yeah.
came on the back of 2008. The political decisions in countries across the world were very difficult for people to stomach this idea of austerity. It also clearly wasn't working in terms of economic theory. And so now they've got to look at it again from a different angle. And it means that they themselves then can't sell us the story of economic apocalypse unless we cut back and give them our pension and give up extra liberties. They
Mm-hmm.
can't sell that themselves because they don't want that narrative now. Instead, they want to somehow increase the velocity of money in another way. And so what they're going to have to do instead is to tell you that you don't need any of the assets that the people would commonly own, like your house or any other asset. You'll have to rent everything, and anything you own, you'll have to pay for it and the time at which you have it
Yeah.
instead of owning any of these things. And that's the next
To
power grab down
remove
in
the
terms of
property.
like,
Yeah.
yeah. And so then social mobility gets even more restricted. The class gets squeezed even more. People's lives get worse, and you don't notice because the quality of your life, maybe not you personally, but of the lowest people in the world, is increasing. That's exclusively due to technology and then productivity benefits and the innovation of good people.
Mm-hmm.
It's not because of these huge liquidity providers. It's not because of dark pools. It's not because these rich people somehow they got rich and so we should let them be in charge. That's fucking bollocks that sheep people say to themselves so that they can go on working their fucking 9 to 5 for the man because they look up to the man and think he's somehow providing for them, when actually you don't need some other fucker to pay your mortgage. In fact, you don't even need a mortgage, and you don't even need to gamble to get to that point of financial liberty and self-empowerment. You just need to learn how to do good technical analysis, manage your risk, and go for worthwhile and profitable trades over time.
Yeah. I mean, I try to tell people, that I don't know how much you know about American politics, but it's been very divided over
Fuck
the
all,
last
really,
4 years. Yeah,
fuck all.
I fucking hate American politics. I think our system of government is antiquated. I think the two-party system's complete bullshit. And what I think a lot of people don't realize is, they're being sold a narrative and being turned against someone of their same economic class and background, based on these fucking ideals and belief systems that are complete bullshit by people with money who invest equally in both parties, because those politicians have the same fucking boss, right? It
Yeah,
doesn't
well,
matter what side of
a
the
study
fence
of
they say they're on.
a student in history will tell you the truth that every war is a class war,
Yeah.
and our part in that is that war's against us. It's never the downtrodden that truly start the war. It's always that somebody somewhere has tried to take that little bit too much,
Yeah.
having already taken everything that was willing to be given. And we're at that moment. It's our time, it's our fight, and they're our tendies.
Yeah, I agree. And also, something else you mentioned that I wanted to kind of follow up on, with the with BlackRock is, we're watching them, and that the idea of pricing, not now taking property, right? And we were watching BlackRock go around the U.S. market, and BlackRock can, they could hit the MOASS button, right? They could fire this whole fucking thing off. They have more than enough money, but they don't, right? Even though they're holding GameStop because they need to hedge that risk, um, they're just going around and buying up all the property. And people are like, well, if it's going to crash, why are they buying it now at double market? It's because they don't care about the price. The price is fucking actually irrelevant. It's the ability to own it the profit that that property is going to make them over the next 100 200 years, while you and your descendants and their descendants pay them rent every month and work slave wages, and their jobs are
Yeah, yeah. Like you
priced.
have to think about it like in terms of like why are they paying over market rates or whatever and so
Yeah.
on and so forth. And it's well the prices of the houses are going up anyway in some places, you know. So factor that into your thoughts. And also the people doing this job aren't actually, you know, they're not going around employing the world's best realty negotiators. And they themselves as a company would normally stick to their knitting. You know, their
Mm,
type of investments isn't necessarily residential and office property all the time.
no.
So the fact that they're doing it now means that there's people doing it and they do it in a particular type of way in order to make the job that they're doing efficient. And when you think about the way corporations work and their cost structures, that if they can employ 1 to 10 people to do a job and save, and those people will save them throughout that purpose tens or hundreds or millions of dollars, hundreds or thousands of or millions of dollars, then it really the extra they might be paying in order to facilitate a slightly quicker sale on any one particular deal, that cost is offset somewhere else, you know. So you're like, well, why would they be doing it if they have to pay more? And it's like, you don't know what you're fucking talking about, man. Have you ever bought 5,000 houses? Like, what are you
Yeah.
talking about, right? And it's similar to the story, the narrative that you were used to explain how it'll be hard to sell at certain times because of congestion in markets and
Hmm.
systems. Is that shit takes time sometimes, eh? Shit takes time. And in order to make it go faster or do whatever, sometimes there's sacrifices. And if you're some people can afford to make them, other people can't.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I brought that up with Houston, and I guess I'll bring it up with you. I mean, you have enough market. I don't think Houston's market knowledge and trading knowledge is that extensive, but I'm sure you've traded high volatility assets, and yeah, sometimes the order book's just full. You can't fuck. You want to sell, but you can't. Sometimes you run into face first into a halt, and then you got to deal with the psychology of a halt, which I try to tell people. It's going to keep it'll turn red after the halt because people sell. People get freaked out. It's 5 minutes sitting alone without watching the price go up. Just it scares people. And
But
like,
like, if you think about that cascading fault thing, I think you're talking about there is like explaining it very well to a lot of people who've never even thought about it before. I think now that we're talking and I can have a conversation that I don't actually have with other people, but I usually say the same thing you've done there. Don't you think it's also possible on this instance, there might be so many faults in a row that people just start taking order like onto the top side, that people just start taking their orders that they previously would have had on the books off, thinking, hey, this is going to go up again and halt
yeah.
again. This is going to,
Well, you
and it
have
might
that.
just flip fucking the other way.
Well, you have that. Well, that's what I'm really thinking is that you're gonna have that kind of gambler's fallacy. Like casinos make millions a day off of the fact that somebody can go up $10,000 at a craps table.
Aye, but they won't let you fucking leave. You lose in 2 seconds.
You're
If they
gonna
take you
fucking,
can make
but
it
they'll
again.
keep that goddamn money. They'll never walk away with it, right?
Yeah.
And that's kind of the beauty of this situation is if it goes up enough, fast enough, people are gonna be like, well, shit, I'm gonna let it ride, right? Because they're not
Which
gonna
is
want to
going to
sell.
add to the fucking volatility and
Yeah.
make it
Oh yeah.
even crazier on both sides, you know.
I
And
mean,
there'll be
because what can
people
they
who
do
get
to
out.
get that
Yeah.
supply? They need to bump the
Yeah.
bid,
And
and they're
what
gonna
the
have to keep bumping it and
yeah.
bumping it and bumping it.
And what about the people that see it get to like say it's at 69,000 and they sell five, and then it gets down to say 40,000 or 20,000 or let's say 15,000, and then they're like fuck it, and then they put everything they got back in again, and then it's back up at 100,000 in that, you know, like whether or not they're getting filled isn't really the point I'm making. It's just there's so much shit going on all the time. Plus, there's like various huge market players who've got other ways of acquiring assets. Like, for example, I mean, you obviously understand like how the collateral can be reclaimed
Mm,
by the people on the other side of the trade. And like, essentially, if you're the one lending the person the money, then you're the one at the end of the day who can just fucking take that collateral.
yeah.
So, like, the way that that plays out in any various scenarios means like the actual liquidity on the books in order to do stuff. could be coming from so many different places, and market makers during it trying to offset positions,
Well,
and that it's going to be fucking mental. I
here's
think there'll
something
be.
I'm sure you're aware of, that I've kind of brought it up with my chat a couple times, but it kind of dives deeper into the market mechanics. Is how long can Citadel not provide liquidity as the DMM on GameStop before they get fucking pulled by the NYSE?
Yeah, how's
I
that
mean,
situation going to work? That's brilliant, and at the same time providing liquidity. Um,
like
I mean, it's
Goldman
gonna.
and Virtu are waiting. They're chomping at the bit to take over DMM on this stock because they know when they do, Citadel's dead, right?
Yeah.
And so it's just like, but like, how much longer is this going to be able to drag on where we're trading sub 1 million volume a day on a fucking Russell 1000 stock? You know, like the part of being in the Russell 1000 is we're supposed to have liquidity. We're supposed to this stock's supposed to be fucking moving every day, and it's not, right? This has to be the lowest volume on the entire fucking index, let alone the S&P 400, right? And yeah, it's, I mean, how long before the NYSE is like enough of this bullshit and they pull the stops? And I wrote so another question I get asked a lot that kind of ties into this is initially when I first started doing this, I was just writing posts on Reddit because another guy who was doing it gave up. And, you know, I wanted to make sure that that technical analysis was coming out to people every day because I thought it kept people calm, if nothing else, right? If I have an idea of what the stock is going to do for the day, I'm going to most likely hold, right? And it's not that it doesn't benefit me if thousands and other people hold, right? It does. I'm not going to lie about that, but it also benefits all of them involved in the stock as well. And so I started writing these posts, and people, you know, really wanted me to stream and talk more about it. And so I started doing that, and that's kind of how it picked up the momentum that I'm at now. And it's awesome. I love my audience. We hang out every day and we watch the stock trade sideways, and we don't give a shit, right? Because every single one of my viewers is, you know, they're in it with all the other viewers almost, and it's created this community of where people are just holding and they're buying more when they can, and, you know, just watching the
That's
short
so
heads
funny. I
stick
was
their
thinking
stock
about this,
around.
like what you talk about there about the again from like the start to what you just said when I interrupt you, sorry.
Oh, you
Is
go ahead.
that idea of like they're putting in all they can have, right? And I've had this repeated daydream nowadays. It used to be like, oh, what would you do if you win the lottery? You know, and like I don't enter the lottery, so that's not going to happen. Like I'd never fucking buy a lottery ticket, so I know that's not going to happen. But I still have this irrational daydream, and recently it's morphed into this idea that like, well, if I won the lottery, I'd put every fucking penny on GameStop,
Yeah.
and you'd do it in a market fucking order as well,
Yeah.
because fuck it,
Yeah. I don't
right?
care what
I
it
mean,
fucking
fuck it.
costs. If I had,
I'll
if I had,
fucking market order $100 million of GameStop for a couple
yeah,
of hours
let's
every
fucking
minute for a
go. I'm
couple of
tired of
hours.
waiting, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
fuck
I
it.
would. I can't play the lottery either. I call it a tax on hope. It's
Yeah, or a tax on stupid people, as Dr. Johnson said. He's
yeah.
the guy that wrote the first English dictionary. I like your references. I like your style, pickle or
Thanks, man.
gherk.
I like you too. This
Thanks.
is good shit. I feel like a
Eh,
lot of people don't get to see these kind of conversations occur on GameStop, you know, because a, a lot of the people, I don't know how involved you are with the subreddits, but you know, there's a
I
lot
run
of
one. Reddit.com/r/tradespotting. And it's the fucking place to be, by the way.
I have one too, I think. I'm not a moderator on it, but
I'm the king of mine. I'm the only moderator.
uh,
It's like it's because maybe you're aware, but for a few months there I wasn't able to sleep because I was the subject of somebody's runic magica, and they were keeping me awake at night and interrupting and trying to slow my roll on YouTube. But those people have been
who?
dispelled.
Oh, was this has to do with the fucking?
The,
So
the
I ignore all of Reddit. I don't want anything to do with the fucking moderators or their drama that they drum up every weekend to keep themselves interested on days where the
They
stock's
try
not
to do it to
trading.
me all the time, and it's like they're fucking. I think that they're like actually misogynistic bastards because they
Bitcoin
go about it
seller.
like they'll attack me one way, and then I'll respond, and they'll do it in what is like totally in a balanced way. And then another one from somewhere else will come and act like I'm the one that's being aggressive, ignoring the first instance. And then they'll build that narrative up and
Hmm.
try to like make it. And it's just so fucking, it reminds me of people in abusive relationships and they think I'm going to sit down and shut up. It's like, by now they should really have fucking met me. Like I'll slay them every fucking weekend and make them look stupid, especially when they jump on their little Facebook circle group AMC fucking shitty fucking bollocks, man.
I
Like I
mean,
like AMC and I
I
like a
just
lot of the main YouTubers, but I don't actually necessarily like some of the environment that goes around with it. It's like makes me want to fucking boke, man. And like when you see that old people who used to run what is like the most important community online for GME
yeah.
doing stuff like that, you're like, man, you guys, right? They didn't leave with dignity, and now in their retirement, all they're doing is further disgracing themselves. Disgusting.
Yeah, I mean, I've stayed away from the moderators and the drama as much as I can. You know, I just write my post every day, and for those of the people out there that want to read it, awesome. For those that don't or think I'm a shill, or you know, I've never done anything but be bullish on GameStop since I started this, and I'm never gonna stop until it's over. And
Yeah. Keep it up, man. You're doing a great work. Everybody who's got anything to say about you, it's good. And that says so much,
and so
because
I
most
just
people that would be inclined to say anything would be somebody who's got something negative to say, but that you don't see any of it about you. Everybody that talks about you says nice things. And some of them are
that's
really good people too. So, I mean,
that's
it's not
good to
coming
hear,
from me,
man.
but like props to
Yeah,
you.
I definitely. I honestly, I don't hear anything bad about you. I had no idea you were having drama on Reddit because I don't pay attention. People come to me with the DDs and stuff from there, and they're like, "Check this out. What about this market mechanic?" And some of it's just so far fucking fetched. And I don't want to ruin their heroes, right? But at the same time, these people are digging into aspects of the market that aren't relevant to this trade. And that's what it is ultimately. Is
Fucking right
we're in
they
a
are,
trade,
man.
and Jesus
Jesus.
Christ, some of the shit they bring up, like the fucking RRP, and it's like they're trying to stave off interest rates increasing by depositing
Yes, because they
liquidity.
did the largest series of quantitative easing in the world has ever seen and whatnot. And there's
And
X, Y,
but
and
at the
Z.
same time, you can't halt that innovation, right? You can't we like so you have to somehow keep it going, but like deflect all the outside stuff, and it's so hard to keep that train running, right? Because
Choo
you know
choo.
yeah, I mean,
Fucking.
you're constantly getting hit with like, oh, what about this company that closed their DTCC position? And I'm like, it's just some small fund. They're not super relevant. Like, this has nothing to fucking do with GameStop at all. Like, you don't care, right? But at the same time, like, once in a while, something comes up that really does fucking matter, right? And so, like, it's so hard to balance that. It's so hard to balance that with. I don't know about your community, but with mine, it's just it can be really difficult because you don't want to stifle that innovation that 600,000 eyes on one stock, but you also have to be able to kind of
Mhm.
throw off all that misinformation that's constantly coming out. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's definitely a weird balancing act, and I've found that to be probably the most difficult part about doing this, especially live every day for a community, is like, how do you not be yourself after that amount of time? I mean, I have 7 hours of screen time a day, and eventually you can't just fake it anymore. I don't know how the fuck Matt Kors does it. I don't know how he remains just a perfect loaf of white bread, but he does equitably. But I also think he's Rick of Spades. So, but we'll get into that later. I have some evidence and DD I can show you on that subject. But what I did want to talk to you about was something that I thought tied into this that a lot of people weren't realizing. I wrote like a little paper on it. If you ever get a chance to check out my Reddit account, I have all my stuff like pinned
I will
there.
do, man. I'll do it after
Yeah.
the stream.
Um, but a lot of people were asking me, why is the borrow rate so low? Like the borrow rate was sub 1%, right? On a stock where we know for a fact there's no fucking shares available. And I kind of wrote up the how and the mechanism by which these lenders are robbing, essentially, or pillaging these short hedge funds that are trapped in this position, right? So the lenders know that they're trapped, And so they're willing to take all their collateral
Yeah, they'll take
off
all the
their hands.
margin in that
Yeah, and
sense,
give
and they'll
them
get
all
it
the
in
fake
that
shares
way.
that they want to
Yeah,
use to short the stock because eventually they'll run out of collateral and then they'll margin call them.
which is the whole play.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, there's like essences of it. Without saying any, so I mean, you remember much about that LIBOR scandal? It's different in where you guys are from where we are, but here in Europe, there's the interbank and lending rate, and how banks lend money to each other and the exchange rate within that, and the whole process. And there's like echoes of that here where you're like, well, how come it's so low if there isn't any of it? And it's like, because somebody in there is fucking screwing somebody else, obviously. I mean, it's like a huge marker of that,
Yeah.
especially when it's so incongruent with like the volume and like,
I mean,
costs nothing to borrow it.
sometimes it could be hard to derive those motivations. But anytime anybody brings me anything about the market and I see no plausible motivation, I I want to dismiss it because people don't ever do anything in financial markets without a motivation. If someone's not benefiting, then there's no reason for it to occur. Like we see all this well, not legislation, but rule changes rolling out on all these SROs, and it's because they're prepping for this event.
Mhm.
It couldn't be more obvious in the wording, in the steps they're taking to protect and insulate themselves from the fallout. And like when it is time to happen, it will. And
Mhm.
it's not that it's a speculation anymore, and there shouldn't be any fear of anybody holding this stock because it is inevitable.
Mhm. Even people really don't. I think people won't be afraid when they see us at $700-800. I think
I
they'll
know.
no longer be afraid. And I can tell you that even with anything to do with MOASS, the charts have been saying for fucking ages that they're going to like 2,450. If you take the x-axis off it, it's nearly fucking stuck stick on.
Yeah.
And like, so just chill out and enjoy it. And when it gets up to 700 or 800 and we watch it then bounce into 2,450 levels and that, then then you can look back and you can say, like, instead of being like um just scraping by psychologically by that stage, instead you can like turn around and say to your mates, not only did I fucking change the world and now I've got enough money to change the world and your world, but I did it all feeling and looking cool, you know and like that gives you like the ability to manage your own life and outside of it, because although you're just like people like you and me are spending hours and hours doing this, and like there's the strain physically and mentally of putting in that time. And you say earlier, like, well, it helps me by doing it because I'm help explaining things to people. They help me. The return on value for the amount of time you put in, it's anything like me, it's nothing like what you get doing an actual job. It's not
No, not
money,
at all.
right? So like the idea that you're not helping people, like, well, then why the fuck else would you be doing it? Of course you are.
Yeah.
That's like the whole thing. And that so yeah, that's the idea. You don't need to worry too much about the prices when they're down here, because like it's obvious they're going up, and it's like there's the ascending triangle that both you and I have talked about. People have been saying to me like, oh, you guys think this and you guys think that, and
Yeah, I think
similarities
we came
between
to the
our
same
two.
terms on that one. Yeah, I mean it
Yeah, now you copied me.
For a while there. I mean, holy shit, was it a textbook cup and handle? But they
Yeah,
defeated that with the share offering, which
yeah,
really
but carbon
threw
handles have
things
only
for a
got a
loop.
certain percentage
Yeah,
chance
they're
of
not
working
super
out, and
accurate.
it's the
I try to
same
tell
with
people they're not accurate.
yeah.
Do you get the intraday cup and handle from your chat a lot?
No,
That's
I
my
don't.
favorite.
Well, I mean, on the way up to that big cup and handle, there was like seven on the intraday ones.
Yeah,
I would be pointing them out and talking about, here, look how this is going to do this, and whoa, look at that, and whatnot. But I'm not much of a, pattern trading comes like right at the end of my analysis for making trading decisions. I do
same.
deliver it at
Yeah,
various stages throughout a YouTube video because it helps people understand the points that I later go on to make. But and for regards to like what priority it takes with regards to coming to taking a trade, then it's right near the end where I'm like, well, I'll double check all of this with Bukowski, or maybe a harmonic might be the first thing that like draws my attention to a trade. But I mean, I don't, and I'll have horizontal support and resistance as my go-to thing is horizontals
yeah,
up to including like the week, and then yeah, and then like the suite of indicators which I use, which again is Rocky Outcrop, my brother, he developed the ones I use.
Oh, okay.
His DMI is fucking awesome, by the way. You should
No,
totally check it out.
I've actually, a lot of people have told me about it. The directional movement index, and
Yeah,
it's
he's
it's
got
similar
little.
to what you use on ADX, right? But he's programmed, like, made a custom program for it.
Yeah, well, it's yeah. There's things about the ADX and then the overbought, oversold, and the way that certain things work. You know, the strength of trend, places he's
Yeah.
got things in to measure it, and that. Directional movement index is all about strength of trend and like spotting, spectacularly good at spotting like divergences, hidden divergences, and different types of momentum.
Hmm.
And he's added in these things that also give it like volatility signatures. So you can see when moves come, and like not only do they come, he's also got like back tested it over various ways to do patterns on it. You can do all sorts of different things that you would do on different momentum oscillators,
Yeah.
like obviously oversold, overbought, crosses, divergences, and then also with volatility as well, which is something you don't normally get on that.
So
And like
something similar to like a less smoothed out super trend, maybe.
yeah, like but it gives you like that, but
Okay.
it does at that, and because it's like a leading indicator in the way the volatility works. You know, a leading indicator with regards to the way volatility works.
So kind
That's
of like
fucking awesome.
BBKC or
Yeah,
TTL.
sort of. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Those things
Where you're
with
like
the
predicting like range and direction of volatility.
yeah, nearly fucking yeah, exactly right, like that.
Okay.
That and
I'll
it's
definitely check
free.
it out.
It's
It sounds
free.
awesome.
It's free. He's in my chat. I'm sure he'd love to speak to you at some point. He's very
Yeah,
similar to you.
absolutely. No, no, no. Like I've gotten nonstop requests that we do this again, and like I'm definitely down to hang out with you guys like a drunk one night or something.
Fuck yeah, that'd be so good. I was saying, people get in touch with me because I know it's you, and I already knew you'd be sound, and that. And they're coming having liked you and asking me to do stuff with you. I know that I can already respond with like humorous things back. So I've been saying for ages, like, yeah, we're doing a hot tub stream. We're doing fucking, we're gonna do mukbang. We're
Yeah,
gonna get pissed.
we'll do a mukbang OnlyFans and a hot tub. It'll be great.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
No, but yeah, I mean, I would say pattern recognition is definitely like 9% of my analysis, if that. But it's the thing I have to display to the community, right? Because it's the thing people most easily understand who don't have experience trading, right? Like if I start throwing up fucking oscillators and like Ichimoku Cloud and shit, they're totally gonna like lose their place and not really grasp the concept I'm trying to portray. And so I've almost gotten better at doing pattern recognition because of the community, because now I use
I
it so
like
much
that. That's
more.
good. I've gone a different direction. I've thought, if you don't understand what I am saying, that's your problem. And the truth is, and I'll say it now and I mean it, is the problem is my audience that they're not smart enough and they need to get smarter.
Yeah.
All of them. All of them need to. And I'm not just talking about the ones who don't understand me. And I'm going to help them, and they're all fucking legends about going about it. But and there are the odd two or three that aren't, right. But I deliberately exaggerate that type of attitude so that they know that there is like a degree of distance, not in terms of like the intellect or the learning or the road ahead of them, but so that they can say, hey, there's somebody I don't have to like. It's quite explicit that you don't have to like me.
Yeah.
And so that makes it fucking easier to learn the stuff. It also means that if I know it and you don't like me, you're going to sit there and let me be better at this than you are. And
Good old
like
Socratic method.
exactly, yeah, it's the Socratic method, right? I ask questions of you and you answer them, and I
Oh, but
like it
people
when you
ask me
talked
shit
about the
all the time, and
Feynman technique earlier.
I tell them to go look
Yeah,
it up, right? Because like
I
I can
yeah, but they'll
tell
end
you a
up
hundred
coming back
times, and
from
you're never gonna
fucking
get it.
yeah. Looking it up's one thing, eh? Like, but the best things that you'll ever know, the best things I've ever learned, told to me by people who were doing it and have been doing it for years. They're the best things I've learned, and like they're also things that I didn't necessarily write down and don't articulate when somebody asks me for a list, but every so often they'll come out and I'm like, geez, that's one of the things. Other than that, it's reading them in books. I've read it in a book, and then it's like that. That's where you get it from. And then when I go to look things up, the internet is full of shite, and like there's people out there that tell you know what they're talking about when they don't, and most of them have got most of the attention, and Google will lead you there because of the way they've siloed everything, and everybody gets sent to the lowest common denominator, and
Yeah,
that's so often
I agree.
stupid. And like, so it's really hard to find it, but if you can, um there are things written by those authors who came up with some of the best tools in the business. And like, if you investigate and look far deep enough in that, you'll find them. You've got a Discord, haven't you? Rocky's got one, and in
I
there they
do,
do
yeah.
that. They look up all the things that some of them do look up these things that the authors of the indicators and whatnot went on to say for the rest of their lives, so you get like the most up-to-date picture of all these
Have
different
you,
tools and stuff.
this is a book I recommend to a lot of people who are just starting out or wanting to learn about technical analysis is Technical Analysis of the Financial Markets by,
What a
um,
good name, huh?
huh?
What an
I can
imaginative
never
name.
remember his goddamn name. John J. I've read the book twice too. And then The Intelligent Investor by Benjamin Graham. Because you can't just do technical analysis. You need to understand what you're investing in. If you're going to own a part of a company, whether it's for 10 seconds or a year, you should know everything there is to know about it. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I try to show them that there's an approach to that, to even trading, where it can't just be just the asset, right? Like, you really do need to understand how it moves, the psychology behind why it moves, what other market factors can affect it, and all of this ultimately goes into my technical analysis model of a stock like GameStop, or like this week I was in on Home Depot. Last week I was in on Tesla and AMD. And but like, there's so much that goes on behind the scenes. I think that people aren't really realizing that when I'm just publishing, the pattern analysis, and
Mm-hmm.
like, not what led me to the pattern analysis. And so I'm trying to put a little bit more emphasis on that. And hold on, let me just respond to this one thing in the chat. We're
Go
not
for it.
babying you. Okay.
Me.
No, not you. Me. I don't know. It's in my chat, but yeah, you're not being babied. There's a road here and it's long, and you need
Oh,
to
I see what you're
understand
saying.
that.
Yeah, no, you're doing a good job. I think that there's like, it's important to go from, this is what I was saying
John
before.
J. Murphy. Sorry.
You can't skip it and take shortcuts.
Yeah,
And
there's
to
no
have
shortcut.
somebody who'll explain like, this is what you do when you're at X, Y, and Z or whatever, like that's a gift. And
Yeah,
everybody comes
absolutely.
into it's new, so you can't just all of a sudden start upgrading to level 2, level 3, level 4 just as your audience do, because there's new people joining all the time. So like, if anything, the people in the chat that in my chat, or if that would be to the culture became like that, I'd have to say to them, look, I got you to level whatever, you can get them to level 1 or 2. I mean, that would be you know
I mean, that's kind of why I created, like, the Discord I did for people trading, like, who are really serious about trading, is because there is a separation. There's people in GameStop, a lot of people in my audience that are in it because they are, right. Like, they're invested in GameStop. They have no intention of being a trader or trading assets in the future, right? This is the play they're in, and they're in it for the long haul. But the idea of trading doesn't really appeal to them. They have other professions and jobs and things that they do. But there is a segment of my audience that does want to know more, that really wants to explore the intricacies of this. And so I kind of I kind of separated that so that those people can speak to each other and talk to, because that's how I learned, right? Like, um I was in, when I first started out, I was in trading servers and chats and forums, and anywhere I could pick up information, I was trying to find it in order to better my trades, and make sure that my entries were better and my risk management was better. And the worst part about it is, academically, it's not something that you can really be taught. And I think that's a failing of the academic community. I mean, I went to school for finance. I'm enrolled in a program right now for my MFE and my MBA, and like, I am interested in that side of it, but it's kind of fallen by the wayside as I trade more. And I,
Mhm.
I really want to focus on trading. And I know that I'm not gonna, maybe with an MFE I'll learn more of the market mechanics that I need to be a better trader. But at
Hmm.
an undergraduate level, you're really not going to. And
Hmm.
it's
Well, you
unfortunate
get
that,
the skills and you get the qualifications, and you're allowed to handle other people's money. And
Yeah.
then you're like, well, this is shit. I wish I was doing it for myself. And you end up doing it for yourself and you're better at it than other people. So that's a good route to be on, I think.
Yeah,
You're doing
no.
something similar to myself in some ways.
I mean, that's pretty much. I mean, obviously I don't want to be a trader forever, right? And I try to express that to people too, is that trading is, a stopgap between starting off and then having wealth, and then you grow wealth, which is a much more hands-off, easier job, depending on how actively you're growing it. But I think that's ultimately my goal, is to get there, and as many people as I can teach along the way, the better.
I kind of like trading. I think it's like the way my mind works. I will often flip from one subject to another mid thought, So I'm thinking one thing, talking about another, and thinking about hundreds of others. And like the only time I really get peace in that sense, where I can focus on one thing and take the thoughts right through. Or when I've got like all of the sensory inputs that I get from classical charting with the thing in front of myself doing the particular type of arithmetic, I suppose you'd call it, that suits this, and then working through like the problem solving aspects to technical analysis to like prove or disprove both sides of the story. And that's all that really like stills my mind in that. It's funny because people say to me like, "Oh, Jimmy, what do you do for fun?" And it's like, well, do this. Yeah, because like having peace is like the so like I'll probably always be a trader. And though you're right, there is a very big difference, distinction that should be made between investing and trading. Um, especially if you want to talk about how to do each of them ethically. But yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
No,
I'm
I
gonna have to
mean,
go soon, Pickle. I'm gonna have to go and get a cup of tea. This is the longest I've been without a cup of tea since I was about 11 years old.
I'm sorry, man. Yeah, I'm more than willing to wrap it up here. Jamie, thank you so much for coming on the show, man. I really appreciate it. This has been an awesome chat. It went far longer than I expected.
How long did
But
it go on for? I have no idea.
oh Jesus,
A couple of
two
hours at
couple
least.
hours at least. Yeah, almost two and a
It
half
was
hours.
brilliant, man. You're a total legend. It's really nice meeting you.
No,
You
you too,
really,
man.
really
It's
would get on with my brother Rocky. You're very
absolute.
similar in
Yeah,
lots of ways.
absolute pleasure. And
My,
no, no, no. I definitely want to do this
Not
again.
even necessarily hooking up for videos. It's up to both of you to decide that, of course. But you'd be mates, see, you'd like each other.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely interested. Thank you, guys in the audience. If you can, head over to Jamie's channel, give him a subscribe and a like.
Oh yeah,
Super awesome.
woo! Thanks
uh,
very much, and everybody in my chat, head over and likes raid on Pickles stream and give him a surprise. Surprise? No, it won't be much of a surprise now, but like give him a subscribe. Thanks very much,
yeah,
Pickle.
absolutely. And I
Gark,
definitely look
Gark.
forward to doing. Yeah, Girk's fine. I definitely look forward to doing more with you, and if your brother's interested, both of you guys in the future. I
Yeah,
really
man.
like your
Let's have like some
perspective.
sort of sloppy threesome. It'll be brilliant.
Yeah, definitely, man. All right. You have a wonderful night, guys in the audience. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I appreciate it. Um, I will get this video over to you somehow. I'll be in touch with you on Twitter. And yeah, everybody, thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate all the support. Guys from Jamie's channel, thank you for coming over. I appreciate that as well. You guys have a wonderful night. Jamie, good night, man.
Good
Enjoy
night,
your cup of
Pickle.
tea.
Kirk, lovely meeting you, man. You're a new friend, right? You're a new friend now. So I'll say hello to you everywhere I see you, and I'll direct people to you whenever they get in touch. Thanks so much, and everybody on my stream. Good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
All right, guys, thank you so much. I'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning. Later.